Hey Rick, I know it's 5 p.m., but can you help me out I would love to help, but the little clock in the corner says we're out of time. God bless you, my friend. Work from home communication has been both a blessing and a curse. Oftentimes, when I don't like what my coworkers are slacking me, I can simply close my laptop and literally shut them up. And other times, when it's a higher up, I really don't understand what they're telling me, and with the lack of body language and tone that I could usually read in person, I get pretty frustrated and don't know how to respond. Today, I'm going to be sharing some of my personal experiences slacking with coworkers and how confusing it really can be. For example, last week one of my coworkers slacked me a question related to my work. The first problem was it was an incredibly long question, which meant if I were to reply, it would be just as long to address all their issues. And second, they were not even on my team, so I didn't want a draining back and forth. Since they were higher up than me, I decided to respond, and thus began 30 minutes of typing, which ended up in an argument. That was a worse mistake than my mom asking if I wanted her to hold the ladder when I was a kid. And it doesn't help that I work with a bunch of comedians. For example, many of my coworkers are British, so they use sarcasm 100% of the time when they chat. Sarcasm doesn't generally translate well in text, and God forbid if you try to use irony or metaphors, how dare you. Now, I'm not any better though. I'll write comments that sound great in my head, but then when I'm writing them out, they just aren't as smart or concise. But I realize arguments are pointless, especially at work, when I'm going to see a Karen every single week as the first person joining our Zoom calls. If I'm arguing with a stranger online, I've come to the realization that it's pointless. 90% of them are already set in their opinion, and the rest deliberately misread what you're saying. You ever notice that those who whine the loudest are usually the ones that contribute the least? Sometimes people won't accept your side or understand where you're coming from, so there is literally no point in having the discussion if they're not willing to understand or learn. Similarly, at work, if I put in my 2 cents in something and someone misreads it, I end up defending myself like a brick wall. And if my coworkers start arguing, what I like to do is say something like, "Interesting, let me chat about it with my manager." Because even in chat, I feel the pressure to respond when we've been chatting back and forth constantly, and often I feel like I'm put on the spot, especially if it's in a public Slack channel. I either don't have the right words to convey what I want to say, or say something that's already been said. Other times, before sending something, I give myself a nice pause before I hit the submit button, just in case it makes me change my mind. But recently, my brain just says fuck it and sends it. No one minds if you share your opinion. Obviously, toxic comments should be kept to a minimum, and although it's cathartic to sometimes call your coworker a prick, it usually doesn't end well. And given that our personal and work lives are even more digital, I sometimes forget whether I'm commenting on Slack or on Reddit. And know this, even in a remote environment, it's still office politics. You have to learn the rules of the game and play them better than anyone else, even in chat. Just imagine you're a member of the circle, but for work. So one easy way to increase our ranking is to send pointless emails late at night. But honestly, this might all just be my anxiety. Is virtual social anxiety a thing? I tell myself I'd have better communication skills if I worked with better people, and I should get an award for how I've managed not to punch my computer every time my coworkers ask me to share the same doc. Words are powerful, so choose them carefully. Don't mix bad words with your bad mood, because you'll have the opportunities to change your mood, but you'll never be able to replace the words you've said. If you have been having a bad mood, feel overwhelmed or burned out, check out this video right here so that you can procrastinate even more, or maybe even learn a thing or two. Thanks for watching, see you guys in the next video.